Armageddon Part 5.
Armageddon 5.
That's right.
Since I
5.
Armageddon 5. Good. Na masem da bia said the eba mejina so no. E di se metre dunsia. Chichemu dumienu de kosi edunan. Revelation chapter 16 so. Ose na obofo to so nsia no ehwie ni kuruwa no egu esubontin kase Euphrates so. Na ewe.
Okay.
Ana esiesi kwan ema ahemfo a every epuye no. Na me hu ahun fin miensa te sem ponkyerene ayefiri otwase no enum eni aboa no enum eni atodifo no enum eno ya chemu do miensa.
That's right.
Ana okira ase se wonom ye ahun moni a omo aye nkonya na de dada asase so ahemfo eni wiase ahemfo nyinara ebo abomo no ema onyankopon da kase no.
That's right.
Semaka twini ya. Very good. Na masem bisa ne say esubonti Euphrates no awe very good.
You dance
wa na de bia say dem ka de bia obi wo ho a enane de di kan a ohwe program nintin ya na me pese ka ye bo video ba ko na ye de aka wo de atwam no ko fraba say
okay
and one dance nti
ye video one dance nti ni kunso a ye ho ahwe
yes
nti production Mr. video 1 mu ro mfa man ni nyina so nkasa.
What comes to your mind when I mention West Asia? Conflict, regional rivalries maybe? Today we are focusing on another issue that is plaguing West Asia, and that's climate change. Millions in Syria and Iraq are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up. Israel and Jordan have been engaging in drought diplomacy over scarce water resources, while Kuwait is converting the world's largest tire dump into a city. The Euphrates has been the cradle of civilization in West Asia. The river has been the lifeline for millions in Iraq and Syria for thousands of years. But now it has sunk to a historic low, sparking the region's worst water crisis in years. Our next report tells you more.
The mighty Euphrates River used to near Khaled al-Hamis's farm. But now the river is only visible from a distance. The crops have been destroyed due to the lack of irrigation. Even worse, the farmer's family has been left without drinking water.
We are completely deprived of drinking water. The women have to walk 7 kilometers just to get a bucket of water for their children to drink.
Al-Hamis is among millions of Syrians who depend on West Asia's longest river, Euphrates. Water levels in the river have hit record lows. Neighboring Iraq has also been affected. Both Iraq and Syria have been dry countries. Despite this, the current drought is unprecedented. Rainfall has declined by 70%. Environmentalists are calling it the region's worst water crisis in years.
12 million people in Syria and Iraq are struggling with this, the worst water crisis in years that we have seen. So especially this is, the water table is at its lowest, 70% less rainfall, and this has really wide ramifications for health. It has wide ramifications because drinking water isn't safe.
The issue is not limited to drinking water shortage. Critical facilities like hospitals are at risk of facing power outages. This as the drought is threatening to bring hydroelectric power plants to a
evangelist. Yes. Sir Usionovia, a song for so and my own conscience say, and no na ACC quine, ama a him for a wepuyeno.
That's right.
Abba. Sa him for no woman to me, ma. Just say, sa to me and Sanwa Yahoo 57 points a name. Ako bomb mano, Ediaba.
That's right.
Said the children canini. Fine. And the sa to me and son. Children Abodin or say Bakwe or Chassie. Bakwe Abuano, and now Bakwe a Trodifon. Ya Chimoha. na mensan kai enuanom se otwease no aye obonsam na obonsam dwuma wo ye no ayi no hu di awo amanaman ko batan kambom kwa kan United Nations.
That's right.
Eno ena edi se adwuma na obonsam eto so mienu aboa na eno so ka ho no enkom sha kire mu ma abakaso so afo aso se aye kani Rome aye kan pagan Rome abosunsun Rome a edani be ya papa Rome eno so adani be ya the Holy See.
That's right.
Eno ni aboa no na afi atrodifo na ka ho no aye asori a kani no nanka wo se omo no omo atiatua Roman Catholic enkyerɛkyerɛ ho a omo ankasa si omo se de Roma ekyerɛ no omo mpa enyema wo no.
That's right.
Na nansantemu every 2015 about 2017 titiru no wo nyina ka bomu a wo de onsa akɔhye krata se akɔ se ya na every Roman Catholic koye so se de yaba na bo mo aba no eno Bible kasa John 17 okanka bomu enti so makomo bomu a yenka asamo ya boni enka bom de obi ape na enyina so a mo gina so de kaka bo mu no eno hana se no na ama ye Bible ahye ho nkonso mo ya trade for sanity.
Okay.
Fi said de na mo gina so mo de ti omo every room se enye no ade no wo mo asa ko ka ho enche se mo da wi ase keke so ade se o se se menye nipa enti wa ho afiri me ho a fine to aso na me sisa amadwen na so be ka me ho a enye wo mo a ko ka kire omo se me menya me se
on be hu say
na Bible from so mo ya trade for.
That's right.
Good. Miensa yi na Bible kire se wo mo ade ahonhom a kise aponkyerani na ebeboa ahemfo ai frepuye no ano na won boa mo no a omsan ebeboa asase so ahemfo nyinara.
Okay.
But okay, King James version na eboa mo yeti ase yi okano the kings of the earth and the kings of the whole world.
And kings of the east.
The first one and no kire mo say say Euphrates ni wi a eno bie kwama ahemfo afre puye the kings of the east.
That's right.
Eno benya no verse 12. Right? Now over verse 13 and 14 no especially 14 no can clearly say sa ahomfi no omo de miracles awade no konye ye beko asase so ahemfo ani wiase ahemfo okano two o say the kings of the earth and the kings of the whole world.
That's right.
So entino we be mo hu say o can say the kings of the earth no na ya sa asase so ahemfo no ani wiase ahemfo no ba ko ye fraction. So there's entino or the whole about the whole earth. We are singing Nara.
That's right.
Hey, entino ebe omede kan ya fa himfo free puye no ansa no maka nyina anso den abom.
That's right.
Hona na dan wo.
Okay.
Tino kan say asem omo efri omo no mede ko no e dey say aponkyere ne. Apoto nsusu no yenim minim kura no won de apoto beto asase so obetena.
That's right.
On man no so de kotu nsuo mu a obetena. Oni how. Enena asem a efri sa ahom enum a omo dada asase so ahemfo.
Okay.
Ena me kire mo TV so say sa honhom na tisa ponkyerene no enena asempa efri agya konkron po France no.
That's right.
What in climate change. Na enyo no de aba wiase ewiem sa kira ya ba ampa ya gitu. So na kwan ya omo afa so a omo de akotwi asase so ahemfo no na Bible share wonkom to se bebe mo sa ahemfo puye no ye be yo mo video enche biara na omo ye ekuo bi anase nipa bi a wontimi mpa Bible enko ka omo mbom
tebida because Bible no mo nyini
entino kwan ya obenya dia form dia come nyina bom no na Bible kan ne se agese tse honhom a etise aponkyerene aponkyerene etra asase so etra nsuo so.
That's right.
Enti wo hwe climate change asempa no aba no omo ka no a eno so no gina ya olokotwa ahemfo afi epuye ne eba
climate change nsunsun aso no nsu waso na afi asase so
sa netie enti no ansa na wonye saa no aboa no obedi kan ani otwase na aka bom the beast and the dragon.
Okay.
Makase dragon no anaso obonsam no ni amonsam nwuma no ayi ne ho adi wo United Nations. Ya bo video ha bo Nyankopon hu ye mobo ayesa ba biem kwese da be ya ye bebo adanse nti.
Boso ba
yes. Na baby a wone aboane ne yu enkoka bo mu no ye bebo yanyi hu video.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Production what are my videos 2 and 3. Maybe to row and also am I.
In September this year, an overwhelming majority of the United Nations member states voted in favor of the resolution on raising the flags of non-member observer states at the United Nations. On Tuesday, October the 13th, during an official ceremony, the Holy See flag was raised at the United Nations in Geneva.
The Holy See has long been an active observer at the United Nations. It plays a particularly important role in the promotion of intercultural and interreligious dialogue. There are too many instances where religion is used to divide people. Being attentive to such instances enables us to speak out against them, and the Holy See has done so repeatedly. Hence, the presence of the Holy See, especially at the Human Rights Council here in Geneva, is of the utmost importance to all of us.
With the many crises facing the international community today, the role of the United Nations becomes ever more crucial. We all feel a responsibility to contribute to the important service the UN renders to the human family in the search for peace and the pursuit of development as a benefit to all people in respect of their conscience and identity.
The flag of the Holy See is one of only 2 square country flags in the world, the other being the flag of Switzerland. The flag consists of 2 vertical bands with the crossed keys of St. Peter and the papal tiara, centered in the white band. The gold or yellow represents spiritual power, while the silver key to heaven represents worldly power.
An international group of faith leaders and scientists met at the Vatican October 4th, the feast of St. Francis of Assisi, to urge world leaders to take action to curb climate change before it's too late.
Mi permetto di offrire 3 concetti per riflettere su questa collaborazione: lo sguardo dell'interdipendenza e della condivisione, il motore dell'amore e la vocazione al rispetto.
What kind of dialogue? The dialogue between all religions of the world, united in their commitment to preserving the beauty and integrity of God's creation.
Adofo no yesan ema mo akwaba bi mehu say mo mu be send messages ba say mo volume no e wo fam Mr. Wa mo check mo TV no ema em say ye han bibia e clear ti mo daroma na mo me feedback no na ye hwe say de e kro Evangelist akwa videos me no.
Yes. On say video de kan no. Ye misa say wi ase nyinara e frese nyankopon e de akwanya ma nipa say ye nkan ye ho amumu say asori sa asafo friza abraso da ben na ye hu say asafo bi ene aban akoye baako abesi ebre ye hu say Holy See Roman Catholic asori apeye Franca ene United Nations akobomu a yedi na Franca esi UN headquarters da.
That's right.
Ebin sida and asori wi ase nyina so dodo se na timi sa de no ebin sida.
That's right.
Very good. Enti ye mbisa say adan na ati etimi ayesa enkom hyese wo mbaye baako omode kasa baako na be kasa asan baako enti no edikan ya ehu se bin sida na Roman Catholic asori ekodru yuon mo se emfra Roman Catholic na hodi efra the Holy See enti ya Franca ni ensi abaka wiase ho.
That's right.
Enti no hye bia ekoso bia no yenso beka ho bi ni akira adwene na ebo wiase yenchi omo no mwako.
Okay.
Omo nto aso. Good. Afei omo kodru ho na awie no afia twa mo bosimi atoso du ni da toso du 9 ni da toso 9 so 4th October 2021 Roman Catholic video toso mi ni kire se omo di afahye no mo friend no St. Francis of Assisi afahye na sa St. Francis no Roman Catholic for and they dis afahye.
Okay.
All this afahye wan kire mo se obedi afahye friend St. Francis afahye wa ka kire won outun safom nyina se faith and science conference and no mobile ho.
That's right.
So sa faith and science no kwan offer so a otun safre ahemfo wa puye no se mo mra ni sa afahye no wankyere won kyerɛ sa afahye o kyerɛ mo kyerɛ se ye bi climate change enu abobo ni
afa ewiase bobre no se de ekro
sa enti no wiase gidi ahodo ebe hye mu na yakɔ anokro mu ne de ano de nsɛm akɔma amanyɔfo a ɛhyɛ mra sɛ de ye gidi fo ye hye no de yagye atomu nie te mo nso momfa mo mra no enta akiri na wiase mfa nye dwuma faith and science enti no mo ko hye no omo se omo ye agidie ku ahodo no omo ne asase so abodie mo nyasapɛfo na atena se ahwehwemu ma mo nyina adwen akɔ bankro mu anu nti mo hye mra no de ye sie nie mo nyi sa mo ko hye sa mo ba hye mo mra no a de ye gidi fo ayaka no ene abodie nyasapɛfo ayaka no mo nyi na mo nwire ho na afa mo ne hye mra mo de ahye mra.
That's right.
Good. Na abadwafo ne osom ahodo a otun safra wo mo no eno na memi kyerɛ mo sɛ omo ne ahemfo a efre puye
no. That's right.
Sɛ eye omo ye osom ahodo. Good. Eno na ye de videos ebe kyerɛ ba bia obia ifri.
That's right. That's right. Production videos 4 to 7. So why a crowd right now so Romain.
Dispose of the incense stick, you have to use your left hand rather than your right hand to dispose of the incense stick into the pot, because your left hand is closer to where your heart is, and that symbolizes of being more faithful and more genuine.
Adofnom yes, I'm a more abuse. I feel we're getting program na home based TV and I feel mundo do amo share or RTV no. I mean inshallah and topic I share and then Armageddon part 5. And near me BCC Eddie Yesu Christo Maya etosum ye no name ne BCC. Nanso a record some say Christopher ehunye no abohonwa. Eno and I twa wadwene Eddie Yesu evangelist.
Very good. Enye omo sum na omo sum. Enye no ne me kasa me pese me kan ha
enye no na wugina so
enye na megina so ade ba ko a ewo osum ahodo nan a ya boyim omo nyina wo bidibi esi omani so kyese omo wo ade a wodi wani wahu esi ho a omo bɔ mpa ye de akyere no
ana omo bɔ mpa ya faso
omo bɔ mpa ya faso saa akuoyi wo mo nanofo eno manemsefo atu kwan efire poye ho fise ho no saso nyina wo
poye coincidentally
yes omo nyina efire poye ho e ba atoye fam eye ja konkro po France akachi e de sa be sha krata ase se onu eye ja konkro po France no eye climate change no wo kan se e kan say asase ho aka emprama ho aka esueso ho aka no wo mo ne ya adwen enti wo mo ne sa sha krata se nhye ya no no de ba no onso foaso masem ni efise kwan bie ni ho a sausum nan ya yaboy eye Islam kremo Buddha Sikh any Judaism kwan bie ni ho a onbetimi any aja konkron po Francis Christo so ba kan bom kwan bie ni wonye yida enti na Bible ne say Euphrates ni wi a ena mum na be bokwan enu na bokwan enti no climate change no abokwan ema ja konkron Francis enya kwan ena wodi am waka mo nyina bomu a wodi aba ne ho afa no wodi ne nkyere ebetete wo no sa afa mu ne so tie no ye
tete wo mo de wo mo sasha se
yagitum tie no ni video 90 na ya bo nyina ya ahemfo aprepoye ena ne abo no yansan bo de this obi
River Euphrates efi se nyankopon boy enwe da awe ewe a ahemfo wo apoye fam omu nyina atu anamon aba Vatican e do mo sabe sha pamase tie ne wo ka kire wo Mr Productions about kradwa videos 8 to 11 and also wadaroma mo family.
Waiting at the door, our host, Mr. Yazdani, guides us into the spiritualism of another age.
در حالی که یعنی ما اصلا آتش بزرگ را خورشید میدونیم. خورشید نوری از اهورامزدا است. ما اهورامزدا میگیم خل نوره. یکی از آفریده های اهورامزدا هست خورشید، با این هست که جهت نماز ما یعنی قبل ما خورشید است، نور هست، روشنایی هست.
Adofnom yesan emmo kwa babiem se yakwa kohwe videos no na yebeko evangelist on ansana no mesre wa wadaroma kwa chede efa isika ene deyo program yi mo wadaroma ena mo send isika ede bebo ayen se de be ya ibitime tua airtime no inti yekoso esre mo se CCTV stations near 5 inti mo send isika ntwamra Macedonia emra mebo ayen na so person send isika bia the support program na line abe send isika na dia to so no ye 055 35 74 933 about screen no so o send it here beba na Joseph Anane na no chi no so hwe mi suit fe ya ehye ya ohema ya santoa boutique adaroma and o shematare e o program iso it is all suit to be go suit to be akọ program bi say ya ware say adwuma na bibi etesa na peslim fit kama dia menchire wachi akra melcom nchen ho pe okwa ade a wonsa ebeka bi na number no go screen no so into the pick number no na offer na baby a will be answer no be send e abro yanko evangelist so yanko nkoje enchemu no evangelist
right said the meka wo video said dey kan no na make enye omosum no eho asem na make.
That's right.
Na hweponti ase se ye ka ahemfo a efiri epoye
but evangelist maybe on twon mro we chika so hwe osum no a omu nyina wo physical object bia isi o manim senye fasuo no dani akira e bia ya craft bibi anase bibi etesa ye die dwine bi eno mo de edi dwuma ye hwe Roman Catholic Church so a omo so Mary statue, Peter statue, Juan statue okay Bible also said thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image and don't bow to them.
Yes, video me no be die akire ba obey wa asem sana materially
manko
yes and to be who say no video watch ni nyina afa osom ahodo afiri epoye.
That's right.
Say holy sin nankasa yo osom so eno ono no okuta climate change eno ba na Bible no odeba no ontimi fa nkotwi kremu ontimi fa nkofa Hindu, Zoroaster, Confucianism, Jainism ontimi fa Bible nkofo amomra efa moma entino akonya ba akopa na da ho ma ne say climate change say ekom de die nyina ekom ni kristoni na enim de say de so boso entino ja control province say we are seeing koso na nkuye ya to climate change the climate change of efa so bia ho fa nyina enti momra na emunumum
eno ka ho bi na mo ensuo Euphrates no
awe
enti momra ni nyina nka mum
to nyina di America aba ese aboso ma ho don watwe na de ba ko mo hye ne so ne say obia wo biribi si na ni so menka ne bosum o man kasa na be kira de kro.
That's right.
Obia wo nwini bibi esi ho a wodi na ne kira no sa eno ye ID e common awo mo nyina mu so enti anye den ma onum se o mo nyina be fa sa climate change corridor num abehia ja control Francis.
That's right.
Afia twa mo ne din sa krata ase ene ya bo sa video no ye wo se nitra next week nyankopon to yankwa no ho ye mabo a ye bo sa video na kai emiano bio enti no me ka se ahempo afrepo yi a se de me kire mu firi ha ne se eye osom ahodo ena no fo no a bosume be ya miense na se 9 October last year omo na ja control France ko hia ya omo nyina ya adwen kro se de edi ko de omo de ko no eto nyankopon mra ntina me ka ne sa ne next week member so ti se me miesu nkire wa ma me nka nkire ne ntem bo sa videos no ena maka se enye osom no na me ya fa me ho
da bida
na so omo ko hia na omo ahyamra se yemfa nko to nyankopon mefiri ho no eno ntina me ka sa akire mo se eye enada na omo de how ever ba wiase eno next week member so be bia na obi nti mase ontie mi nti ohun ba bia mefiri me nam ha nti ontie eno so na fe yemo video e de so no so bio.
Okay, production videos 12 to 14.
Yes.
Me pacho no so my crowd wa mun room for mine.
Varanasi in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh. Thousands of pilgrims throng the Ganges riverbanks to take part in the Magh Mela festival. They believe bathing in these sacred waters will wash away their sins.
Nobody is following the guidelines. Announcements are being made to urge people to wear masks. What can the government do? The mistake is on our part that we should be following the rules. But nobody is following the rules. Nobody is ready to listen to the rules.
At the Ganga Sagar festival in West Bengal, officials try to enforce COVID restrictions. Pilgrims have to show their vaccine certificates along with an RT-PCR test report taken 2 days before arrival. But most here believe God will save them from COVID. 3 million people are expected here. Doctors asked the State High Court to stop the festival, fearing it would become a super spreader event, but that was rejected. They're worried because last April there was a record rise in coronavirus cases after the government of Uttarakhand state in the north allowed the massive Kumbh Mela festival to go ahead. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the festivals show India's vibrant cultural diversity. Meanwhile, coronavirus cases are predicted to peak next week in New Delhi and Mumbai as the country battles with the highest number of cases since May last year. Aruna Iyengar, BBC News.
Dou graças a Deus Pai que em todo tempo e lugar atua na história humana. Peregrino da paz, que neste lugar anuncias, louvo a Cristo, nossa paz, e para o mundo peço a concórdia entre todos os povos. Peregrino da esperança, que o Espírito alenta. Peregrinos con María. ¿Cuál María? Una mestra de vida espiritual, a primeira que seguiu Cristo pelo caminho estreito da cruz, dando-nos o exemplo.
As part of his trip to Sri Lanka, the Pope met with leaders of the country's major religions: Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity. It was a one-of-a-kind meeting, and the local cardinal recognized its importance.
It is no doubt a sacred and unique event, which goes down in the history of Sri Lanka.
Buddhist monks welcomed the Pope with this song. The Hindu representative gave the Pope a bright cover, while the Muslim leader condemned the recent attacks Islamic terrorists carried out in Paris and Pakistan.
Islam has no relationship with regard to such practices and evil conduct and deeds.
In his speech, the Pope explained that interfaith dialogue is a tool that fosters respect. A dialogue is sincere, he said, when no one masks or denies their beliefs.
If we are honest in presenting our convictions, we will be able to see more clearly that what we hold in common. New avenues will be open for mutual esteem, cooperation, and indeed friendship.
He also called for all ethnicities and religions to work together in rebuilding Sri Lanka.
It is my hope that interreligious and ecumenical cooperation will demonstrate that men and women do not have to forsake their identity, whether ethnic or religious, in order to live in harmony with the
adofo yes sign Emma Mokwaba BM say yakwa her videos no. But even so say obi a on te Bible ase ana onnimu nkomhye mu no. E be fa so oh we dey say adepa.
Ai ana no fiada na e be yɛbrɔfo de no kra no sɛ ebinum frɛ me saa de na me ye kasa wo TV so ana omuni ba be ye free eni be abeduru ti no me nya botre ma wo no saa wa ho sɛ wo hwɛ videos no a sɛ de me hya ase free de to so na no e ba no wo mu nyina e wo ahyenso de ba ko bi obia wo biribisi na ne so me ka sɛ biribi a me kira ne twini na je sɛ me twini na sa ba omo wo ade a ya nwene nipa de ne nsa nwene esi ho so ada say all in nature
dum bi
sa
an image
yes me pese me de brofo no so babu enti mo amoji pii no mo pamfa la no so pambra next year ba he beka
that's right
omo wo ade bi a wodi wani hu a nipa de ne nsa nwene me pese me pra no bosom na enti ohoni na omo aye ohoni si ho na obi ade ne kire no efra ja konko Pope Francis so de ko si Buddha Sikh Taoism Zoroaster omo nyina wo ohoni asi omani so a omo do omani kire ene so bompa na de ama no so ma ne nkra so fa koma nyankopon eno de kasa bi akoso ama ohoni na chese kasa bi efiri nipa ho akohoni enchei na saafo nyina no efiri epoye age eja konkron Pope na emfiri ho
that's right
tina Bible say kasa no a ebefiri otwease no aboa no ene atodefo ani eno na ekotwe saa
kwan amasa himfu ye free puye sampan so mo aba
enja himfu free puye eye osoma hodo yi amufo ne omo nanofo ye the climate change asempa no akotwe omo aba enti no nkabom na wie pa omo afa no a afe na ya fe omo no onyankopon chiasefo no edi be boni na fe ye dru Armageddon num ti said the commission ne elko ni de me pese ahwefo ti ase ni ti
okay
na makasa no na menya nso oka atrode for ka ho yes ti yemo video me no edi ekire na yemfa nso enye ho nka ye
even say we boy no na ade ba kwa ma wan say so kan 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14 Bible say money anye ni form twekonu yakro tweka ben le da esum ene han tem
very good
and what to aso akire mu a
yes
but say pop kasem so tia or say men ka say munya mo so what you koso so mo so no me yen kamom
very good
esum ene han edi afra ha
sasa na waka no wo se ewu hia o se de aduro no ewu hia so be beja ne som akọ be die mu ansa na yonkofa na yeyi wo de pa wo de nyina bra na ye nyina ye mom sa
aja kwenya ma
aja ko bibia ho fabra ai eye climate change what does it in Bible say e bokwan e ma ye hwom nyina bam or you see the word gather
production videos 15 and 16 other reminders of more room for my
His Holiness Pope Francis and the LWF President Bishop Yunan will now sign the joint statement as an expression of the commitment of our two communions.
upon you.
Na ontina nim enkyere mu nyinaa. Right. On behalf of the royals in Ghana, we have a Council of State member here, and on behalf of the government, we would like to welcome you in the name of our Father and Son and the Holy Spirit. And say that we do really appreciate the fact that you chose Ghana as your place of consultation this time. It is our prayer that the Lord will continue to bless the effort that you are making to bring all churches into unity. He said,
Adofo yes emamo akwaba bio na video ye kokohwe no to you wasum ne tie ye dika akwakohwe ahemfo a efiri apuye aye Buddhism Islam ene ne nkeka ho a wo nyina apuye eastern part of the world enomo wo nyina efiri ho no maba aja kronkron po Francis ho say ya tie se Christopher mu ntie enko ne enko ginchire mu nso ho
very well eba ne sai ena Christopher ya we dey omoka brofo sa ka ne twi.
That's right.
Say ya ka so nyina abom
nti da GTV for us ona da woman in second say video yi
sa na me bisa say ebrebi Methodist Presby num Lutheran Church Anglican na sai dinin ni ho Roman Catholic ni enim.
That's right.
Eno mo pie free Roman Catholic mu eba se Roman for so mbo empire kire Mary ye bon kola su
kire ewa omde abasafunum no eni bible ni na so enti ene mo tena enye yi enti free mu ni ye the Bible na kwa akoye adwuma a ni nyina so ye sola scriptura.
Very good. Eno mo de ja Roman sorry ba ye mpi a hanum kra na kire ni.
That's right.
Ye ti wa no mo akoye bio se yaba
ye nya ne koye
yes fi se ja konkro po France de abase ye nkan ehumbum enti mo free wa mo ban na omone da se da achi ebe san koye chi ye misa won nti na Bible from so mo ya tro de fo.
That's right.
Ade no anyina so no mo gina so de chi o mo free Roman Catholic misa so Roman Catholic we jai sa no man onjae
na so wasa akọ
enu nti na Bible so ya tro de fo sanka we jai dia obeka se ne we jai nti no mi so maba onyae do tie no ano Rome never changes enti ede na mo ko back Lutheran Church ede na mo no mo di kan eti wo hu say so mo nyina akọ Church of Christ one next week videos be out. Let us also be out next week. No matter. Ya cause anything the Bible say atro dey for. Sir, yemfa videos me no dey no.
Okay, production videos 17 and 18. Patron no more room for my.
Shall read your words, and thank you for accompanying us on this journey. The appeal, signed by the religious leaders, is now presented by the Holy Father to Alok Sharma, President of COP26, and to Luigi Di Maio, Italian Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, in representation of the Conference of the Parties and of the political leaders who will convene in November. I would now ask His Excellency Alok Sharma, Minister Di Maio, to take the floor.
Your Holiness, esteemed faith leaders, scientists, and minister.
Adofum yesan emamo akwa babiu bibi nsikwa ohun sese wo tenkom hyase a wo follow program we a uhu de ekobia no wo te ase yi evangelist we I think the video na kasa trend hum
adentina omo nyina ahemfo prepoye ene Jacob Francis ene atodi for ano mo nyina de saka secret ase wie no yesan de koma Alok Sharma.
That's right.
Ono every you so omo no mo hyemra ma wiase de so nti ahemfo prepoye no ene abone atodi for omo ntimi hyemra maye si nkodi so asore bie ni ono so bie ni obe hyemra na wiase nyina de so.
That's right.
Tini omo aka bomu a ya hyemra na wie no ye de koma wo mo a ye hyemra wo to a yetimi twa so UN na hwe wiase nyina so.
That's right.
Enti de ma papa no mo friend Alok Sharma enti ono de ko ene ko bi COP 26 enti babia ho hye de namnie timpanifo na ko hia ho na fe na mra no ba firi soro ho amba fam na no Yakobon ye mo na so kini de ba firi ho na so ye de asane fom.
That's right.
Na masem bisa mi de asem bisa ja ya hwefo ene video twa to no omo hwe video no na wi ane de bisa masem
nipa dodo a omo adwene da so ye omo se eye symbolic eye ifrit insuo na bewe na makwan ma ahemfu ifirepue apano ebinom da so odwene se eye symbolic asemo okay o de ye video a twa to ye video 19 production.
Pool of water near Dead Sea turns blood red. What is happening? A pool of water near the Dead Sea was recently found to have turned red. The Jordanian Water Ministry was sending technical teams on Saturday to take samples and find out the reason for the color change, according to Jordanian media. Local residents circulated photos of the red pond on social media, wondering how the change occurred. Some people wonder whether the plague of blood is happening.
Adofno yesan emamo akwa babi yenkoje question no in free evangelist. What's your question, man?
Yes, maybe Saga for no say. Teach no more any near Kayani, many how Mamunini. Above one son, no crying Yakobon and son. Your Bako ma Osheni de no, a man so and sweat animuja. And a yachimo has say, I dare know a how Monsieur so a chatwo. And in a humble Purambasha Siaba. A binny if it is I can almost see the Binyano cray. And so your Moshi, and Danny Moja Bible me and Sabini. I will dead see one. Now, maybe someone will so know a symbolic. An answer at the say,
Muniano,
and then answer was ya two I have work. The singing in our so Munyan, Yen so nigh a course of Mojan.
That's right.
It's a no so symbolica or Mufamania Yen.
Yeah, that's it. Yanko Puncha, so Jabre, a fake meeting. Your friend, a swear for the sheer Kufika carry. Namia call Namna Sokasa, evangelist, the researcher, Joseph Anani.